Welcome to the Finfind funding matching portal. So the very first step that you will have to follow once you land over here is to register your account. So number one, you click over here on the register here. You will then be shown this screen over here. We have to complete your personal information and accept the terms and conditions. A very important part of this registration process, which will prevent any problems later down the line. Make sure you have access to the email address and make sure the cell phone number that you enter in here is associated with you as a person. So do not use a relative or a significant other or a company cell phone number. It must be associated with your ID number, failing which you will not be able to get an OTP password to proceed in confirming your identity with regards to this process. So that's step number one, which you have to be very careful of and make sure it is accurate. So I'll now proceed to create an account. Once you have completed your registration, you'll get an email or notification on your screen like this, which showcases that you have an email to confirm or verify your details. Okay, so you've successfully verified your email address. Now you added password, which you have selected, and entered once again. You have added your details. You press the login button. You'll be welcomed by this onboarding screen on the platform. So as you can see over here at the very top is your profile. This is where you can change your password, you can manage your settings, and you can also manage your account. Then over here, you'll see we have already registered our profile, so it is grayed out. We had the welcome phase. The next is the onboarding. So we have our owner and business profile information. Then we provide the information for the funding, and then we get matched with the right lenders. At the very top, you also have your profile information. As soon as you have entered your details, you have the information regarding which searches you have implemented. And over here, you can see your personal credit score, which is also very important with regards to any funding applications. So let us start. As you oversee, welcome to Finfind. Here are the 4 easy steps. We are at the onboarding, so we have to answer some basic information to ensure that the system can verify our details. This is very important to ensure that when the funding application is submitted, the relevant lender can determine who they are dealing with. As obviously they're submitting a lot of money, if you are successful with your funding, you need to ensure that all your details are as accurate as possible and you meet the minimum requirements to be eligible for funding. Failing which, unfortunately, you will not become eligible for funding, and you will have to speak to one of the advisors at company partners about how you can become funding ready. So let us move on to the next phase. Okay, so the very first step is your user profile. You need to confirm you are a business owner. Representatives can also complete this, but we are going to complete this as if we are the business owner. So we select yes. Then we're going to add our ID number over here. Once you've added your ID number, please click on the verify button. You'll then see, okay, we need to complete our details to make sure it actually accurately reflects of the ID number. Then you need to verify your mobile number. So you add your number and your email address and you press verify. You'll then see it sends you an OTP to the cell phone number if it is linked to your personal ID number. So you need to make sure that the cell phone number you added is accurate. So we will now enter the OTP. So I've successfully verified my cell phone number and it gives me my personal information on the screen. You then select your race and you move on to the next phase. So now it will search your ID number against the company's intellectual commissions to determine if you have any companies registered under your name. So it's important over here that you select the correct company or enter the details of the company which you want to apply funding for. So if I select over here, you'll see I'll have the business registered under my details. I'll have over here. You can also select business not registered and business registered CIPC but not listed above. So we're going to select the company that's already registered in my name. As applying for funding, I need to have a suitable business entity which has already started trading. So let's select that one. It then gives you all your company information, excluding VAT registration number in this case, as the company I've selected does not have a VAT registration. So there you have to add your details. So you make sure all the information that's displayed under the company details is accurate. Then select if you're UIF registered or not. So select the yes or no. If you select yes, you have to add your UIF number. If you select no, it will move on to the next phase. Make sure your address and business address is correct. Then the next important factor is to select your industry. So in this case, we are going to use professional services just for the purposes of this video. So as you see, you select professional services, then you have to select the division. So we will select the legal and accounting. Then you select industry group, and then you select industry class. This is very important as it relates to your CETA accreditations. It relates to determining the risk of your industry, SARS accreditations, and industry codes, and the like. Please try to select the most accurate representation of your services. So it will naturally not define every single industry available, but please select as close as possible and use your current CETA and business codes at SARS to guide. If you do not have those codes, please feel free to reach out to a company partner's advisor or consultant to assist you. As you see at the bottom, I get a summary of my codes. I double check that this is accurate and correct. Then I press next. After you press next, you'll get a summary of all your personal information. You get a summary of your business profile, and you need to make sure that this is all accurate. Once it's accurate, you press next. Okay, so now we move over to your funding request. This is very important. In this section, we'll see how much we want and what is the purpose of it. We'll confirm the ownership and trading history of the company. We'll confirm the financial information and business information. We'll upload documents, and we'll see if we meet the minimum requirements of the funder. This also includes a section where you need to consent to your personal credit score being used in the application. This is very critical, as if you have a poor credit score or you are blacklisted, as some might refer to it, then your funding application will be impacted. So please make sure that you also have a suitable personal credit score. Okay, so very first is the amount of funding needed. So this is the amount that you are applying for. This can be anything from 100,000 Rand to 5 million Rand. For the purposes of this explanation, we're going to say we want 500,000 Rand. So the next part is, what do you need the funding for? Once again, this is very important, and you need to select the most accurate description to reflect your situation. However, please note that some of the options does have more stringent requirements because of the nature of the capital. So if I want to say I want to grow my business, and I select a different option of, let's say, product and service expansion, and I select over here, let's say, technology. I need to be aware that I am in my business is in the legal sector. I'm asking for 500,000 Rand, and I'm asking for a product service expansion related to technology. So naturally, those are not very common in the legal industry to try to buy, let's say, a service expansion or a product. As legal, they normally sell their knowledge and experience and time. So please make sure this is as accurate as possible. The simplest application is either to buy asset, where you have to provide the details, or use it for working capital. So let's select working capital. We want to money to buy more stock. Okay, so that is what most companies need. They need money to buy more stock. So this is one of the processes to get funding matched in the most simple manner. We press next. Then, very important, add your start date when you start the trading. Please remember that you need to at least trade for 6 months to a year as a bare minimum to be able to be eligible for funding. Fortunately, my company has a registration number in 2019, which means I definitely will meet that criteria. So what I'll say over here, I'll choose the 1st of July. Next, we have to complete all the ownership information. So over here, you need to make sure this is as accurate as possible, and please complete every single section in the application, meaning don't leave this blank on 0. You need to manually add 0 over there. So let you go through over here. So I'm the only owner in the business. I am a South African. I am not defined under these terms. So we know, no, I am white. I'm not Asian. I don't have any disabilities. I am under the age of 35, so I can select that. See over here, I made a mistake. I'm not a female. Okay, I'm not a military veteran. And over here, any non-South African citizens, so no. Then you select your BE level. So this is obviously also very important when it comes to government funding and particular funding on certain projects or business development. So over here, my business does not have a BE certificate or BE affidavit. So thereby, I just say I don't know. Then my employee information, including the owners. So in total, there's one person working on this company, and you need to complete, are you registered for workman's compensation or COIDA as is known? So I'm going to say, no, I'm not registered. Then total of permanent employees, so it's one. How many are female? 0, 0, 0, 0. Part-time, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Then I'm going to say how many permanent jobs will be created. So 0 will be created through this. However, 1 job will be retained. So please make sure, as you can see over here, every single block has information in it. This is very important. If you do not have information in every single block, if you press next, it will give you an error, and then you have to go and complete the blocks that is marked in red. Press next. Okay, now the financial information for the lender, a very important part, because they need to understand how you're going to pay back your money, what assets you have in your side, and what can you offer as collateral. Most loans will require you to submit collateral. Collateral means it's an asset or money or something that you can put on the loan to make sure that if anything should happen and you're unable to repay the loan, they can take that thing, that object, that money, that bank account, whatever, and they can use it to cover their risk. So a lot of people will, for example, have large machineries already paid off, company cars, their personal house, 100,000 Rand in their bank account, stuff like that. So please make sure you select that accurately. So naturally, no one will pay cash for such large transactions. So we're going to say EFT. You're welcome to a debit order as well. Do you own or rent your business premises? So I'm renting my premises as a very small business and I can't afford the property. Do you have existing business insurance policy in place? I'm going to say no, I do not. Then collateral. Collateral in the name of the business. So does the business own this asset? So over here, you can see examples. Does the business own equipment and machinery? Does the business own a bonded property, unbonded? Do they have a very large debtors book? Financial investment in the business name, collateral or no collateral, or any other selection. So I'm going to say I have no collateral. My business doesn't own anything. However, I as the owner own a bonded property. So once again, you can see over here, investments in your personal name, no collateral, personal residential property, bonded, not bonded, and so forth. So please make sure you do have collateral to put on the line. This just shows your commitment to the loan and increases your chances of acquiring funding. So over here, I'm going to say the bonded property is worth 100,000 Rand for illustration purposes. Then, once again, extremely important point, and you need to make sure that you cover this. What is your annual turnover for the past 12 months? Over here, the minimum requirement is over 500,000 Rand, failing which the chance of you acquiring funding is slim to none. Unless you have a signed contract or a tender, if you do not have a 500,000 Rand turnover per year, the chance of you getting funding is not going to happen. So please make sure that you meet those requirements. And as you will see over here, I will need to provide proof that I have the annual turnover to verify it. So in this situation, you can either use the template document that we have provided to you to confirm that you will be acquiring financial statements and records to submit to the lender, Alternatively, you can submit the relevant information of your account, such as bank statements, a letter from your accountant, etc., to prove and verify your turnover. So this is very important. If you do not meet these requirements, you will not get funding. So please ensure you meet it. If you do not meet it, feel free to reach out to our company partners and they can assist you with a business course to try to grow your business. Okay, what is your financial year end? Say February. Which bank do you have your business account with? So over here, you select your bank. So I'm with Standard Bank. Then I will say I have a current account. Do I have an electronic accounting system? I'm going to say no. Do you have any other business loans? No. Also very important to make sure you're not over indebted. Do you have an owner's loan account? So I'm going to say yes, the business currently owes me money. Do any of your business transactions go through your personal account? No. So it's important, obviously, for your financial records that your business transactions stay separate from your personal transactions. Have you invested any of your own money into the business? Yes, I have. And over here, you can select the amount. I'm going to say 50,000 to 100,000 to use a payroll. No. Naturally, if you say yes, you need to select an option in terms of what you use. Then, did your business make a profit in the last 6 months? You can say no, or you can say yes. So I'm going to say next. I hope you are still following along in this video. This is very important to make sure that you get matched with funders. So now a very important part, once again, is to confirm your business compliance documentation. So as you can see on this list, it's quite a long list and you need to complete yes or no. So please go through this section carefully and make sure you have a majority of this documentation. Some of the most critical information that you will definitely need and ensure you have at hand is you need to have your company registration documentation. You need to have your certified ID copies of your owners and directors. Bank statements are also extremely important because they need to verify your income. You also want your proof of bank account electronically stamped. Your business plan, also extremely important, as the lenders need to see what is your plan, what are you going to do with the money, how are you going to grow, how are you going to ensure that they get all their money back. Once again, if you do not have a business plan, please speak to your advisor at company partners to assist you. A tax clearance pin, once again, extremely important, as this showcases that you are fully compliant with SARS. If you're not compliant with SARS, you need to first become compliant with them, as this is one of the most critical documents you need to send to the lender. Then annual financial statements, also extremely important, as they need to see the cash flow, how the money is moving through your account, what is your assets, what is your liabilities, what is your revenue, and all those different types of stuff. So once again, please make sure you have this in place and it is properly completed by a professional accountant. Then you'll see over here your BE certificate. That will also be very important to make sure that they know, especially when it comes to government funding, what is your BE structure. So those are the most critical documents that you require for your funding. So for the purpose of this illustration, I'm just going to select yes on the rest of them. But those are highlighted first. Please ensure they are in place. If they are not in place, or if you are missing any of the other documentation, please speak to your advisor company partners to help you become funding ready. Now, do you have the following documentation available? COIDA letter of good standing. So I'm going to say not applicable. Industry application certification. So if you are in construction or electrical or the technical fields or even in hospitality and you have a restaurant, it's important that you make sure you have your applicable industry certifications. This is important as the lender will then determine if your business is a high risk of being closed down. So I'm going to say it's not applicable. I'm not married, so I don't have to worry about this. However, if you're married, please make sure you have this information when you get to the application phase. I'm going to press next. The same will happen also on the previous page, where if you miss any information, it will give you an error and you have to complete it. Now, this is a very important part. This is where you have to provide proof of your turnover and your bank statement. So as I mentioned earlier in this video, this is where you can upload a template document attached to the service email you received from company partners. Alternatively, you can submit the proper authentic documentation. So for this one, I'm going to submit a document. Okay, so you've successfully uploaded your documentation. You then consent to your credit score over here at the bottom, and then retrieves your information attached to your A number. As you can see over here, my credit is 693. So you want to have a good credit score, which is at least 550 and higher, which is then marked in accordance with this color scheme. Okay, then you just make sure all the information is added over here. So next, we're going to go to the summary page. We press next. Please verify all your information is correct. So please slowly go through all this information and make sure that you have all the correct information. So everything seems correct. So I will then say yes here at the bottom. Then I will say get match. Please allow the system a couple of minutes to find your matches, whereafter it'll move on to the next screen. So here I am at the matching screen. So as you can see, I've successfully been matched with 49 funders based on information that I have added. So you can see I have one government funder called the Industrial Development Corporation. There's 12 banks that want to offer me assistance. And then there is 36 other institutions. These are private institutions, and they all have different requirements. So as you can see over here, and then also if you press Funder Search Summary, it just gives you the information regarding your company. And you can export this to a PDF. So you're welcome to, if you see you're missing any information, or if you didn't meet the requirements, you can get that sorted. Okay. So now you have gone through the different requirements, you've seen the different companies, and you would like to make use of this top one over here. You select the bridging finance, and you will get to the actual criteria of the loan. So for example, you'll see over here, months in business, 12. You'll see it requires certain information that's very important, like company registration, your proof of business address, certified copies of the bank statements, and a lot of different other information. So that you will then use this to apply. Alternatively, you can speak to Finfind, the creators of this platform, and they will assist you with your application to LulaLend to get your business funding. So I hope you found this very informative, and I hope you have gone through the steps slowly and made notes to ensure that you can get your own funding match. Please note, if you do have any questions about the Finfind platform and how to go through the funding application process, please reach out to Finfind. All the details is on the applications. And if you need assistance becoming funding ready, please speak to company partners. And I thank you, and I hope you have a great day further.